aunt of a 17-year-old boy who was killed in Pietermaritzburg during the July unrest has told the South African Human Rights Commission that the family seeking justice for their loved one, Zamanguse, is among dozens of community members that are testifying at the hearings underway into the unrest and looting. More than 350 people were killed in KZN and Gauteng during that period. Nguse stated her story of horror at the commission today.
Sengizofika la kwadubuleka khona uSibahle. So mina nale ngane yami ena 9 years.
Sorry ma'am. Please translate the Sibahle part.
As I'm about to
Can you please press the button there?
As I'm about to get to the point where Sibahle was killed.
Who is Sibahle and what are his or her full names?
Ubani uSibahle nonokuthi amagama wakhe aphelele ubani?
uSibahle ingane yasiswami. uSibahle sinakho konke handsome Nguse.
Sibahle owesifazane wesilisa. Sibahle is my nephew. His full name is Sibahle sinakho konke handsome Nguse.
How you say is your sister's child?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, please proceed from that.
Qhubeka.
Sahamba nama siblings waSibahle noma kaSibahle nengane yami nami sangena endlini ekuyindlu yamakaSibahle.
Myself, my sister's children, that would include Sibahle and Sibahle's siblings, and also my children. We then went on to my sister's house.
So sathi mesifika lapha savala umnyango.
When we got there, we closed the door.
Sathi mesivala umnyango sezinto eqhuma kakhulu esasingazi ukuthi iyini.
After we had closed the door, we heard something which seemed some sort of an explosion, although we didn't know what was exploding.
Our reporter Karinda Jagmohan has been following those hearings and joins us now. Karinda, it's an important process that the HSRC has embarked on because ultimately it's going to lead to some form of accountability, well, at least hopefully, once this process has been concluded. But it also gives us insight in a way that we have not had before into the families that have been affected by the killings that took place of over 300 people. How important was today as a start of these hearings?
That's correct, Kathy. What the hearings are doing is giving us an insight into the alleged violation of human rights that took place during the July unrest. Now, today the focus was on the Khan Road informal settlement in Pietermaritzburg. A number of community members from the area were bussed in to give their testimony and ultimately focused around the death of 17-year-old Sibahle Nguse. He wanted to become a pilot. He was killed during the unrest, we understand, on the 12th of July, just as that unrest was building up and reaching its peak. Now, from what we understand is in that community, unknown people had started to burn tires in the community. And when the local community members went to see what was happening, it was then that they were confronted with private security and neighborhood watch groups as well as police who began opening tear gas on them, and then we understand ultimately live fire, bullets fired at them as well. In the midst of this, as community members were running trying to find cover, a young Sibahle, a teenage boy, was shot and he later died in hospital, a bullet wound to his chest. Today his aunt, some of his friends testifying before the commission about what had happened during those moments, but more and over and above that about how the society has been crumbling since, and even during, speaking to the alleged incidents of racism or vigilante attacks, especially regarding the local Indian community members in that area and how they were confronted during that time, at one point not even able to leave the road that they were standing or living in, the Khan Road informal settlement. So this is what the Human Rights Commission is doing. It's also just showing us what was happening on the ground in areas like the Khan Road informal settlement. Then, Kathy, following a number of testimonies by local community members. We did hear from one, Roshan Jainath, who is an Indian resident in that area, but has been working closely with the community through their peace committees. And what he brought up to the fore is that he believes there have been criminal elements in the local neighborhood watches comprising residents that live in more of the formal suburbs there. He also looks at the point that there's not much trust in their local Mountain Rise police station, also predominantly made up of Indian police officers. And then he also spoke about the fact that while vigilante attacks on the ground were seemingly small groups, racism was extended through social media, where people felt that they could hide behind this technology screen and post very racist remarks in a number of group chats during the time of the unrest that further exacerbated the situation, some even applauding the fact that the informal settlement there was on fire. This just going to show this allegation or rather the violation of human rights in that area. And ultimately, following this will be recommendations on how to hold those accountable and see what can be done to bring the community members together. And of course, these hearings are going to be continuing for the rest of the week. An interesting one happening tomorrow as well, Kathy.
All right, Karinda, let's leave it there for tonight. And of course, Karinda will keep an eye on those hearings and bring us the latest developments here on Newzroom Afrika.